Welcome back to the program, everyone. My name is Jeff. That's over here in the corner as I point to my right shoulder, which is the right way to point to this, as I try to remember myself. Also, scrolling down the bottom is a way to get our free newsletter. You can join us there. We have an AMA this week. Lots of information going on. I wanted to get this out there before the Bitcoin halving, all the different news that's coming out. Yesterday, Monday, the 15th, there was news that Hong Kong announced that they were launching the ETF for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. I want to go into that. I want to talk about another video, like two videos I've made, one that's already out, one that's coming shortly about ETH gates and connecting a lot of the dots. And I want to talk about how all this is kind of tying together, and it's a concern. And it's going to be a concern for the industry, and it's not quite, the Tether debacle, which we may happen at some point, or some other fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the industry for crypto that might happen. But this is getting more and more real. So let me share my screen real quick. Before I do, if you like this kind of content, please like, share, subscribe. Helps out the channel. I know I say it as often as I can, but it does help. But let's just dig right into it. I know you got time's important. Here we go. So first, as I scroll to the top of the right screen. So here we go. Hong Kong regulators approved the launch of a spot Bitcoin and Ether ETF. Okay. So this happened in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is fighting to be the world leader for crypto. And let me just share the other two stories quickly. This came out from Cointelegraph today, less than a day ago. The new ETFs will be lucky to get to 500 million. That's contrarian comments to, I believe that they said, it might have been in this one, that they're expecting up to 25 billion. It was in probably another article. And then again, this is about the supply, right? So we're talking about, here's the Bitcoin block reward halving countdown. It's just about 3 days from now. It'll be in London. It'll be April 20th, Greenwich Mean Time, about 2:30 in the morning. Again, it's not an exact time because it's based on block size. It's every 210,000 blocks. But this is supply and demand. Okay, this is basic supply and demand. Okay, we are watching supply and demand play out in front of our eyes, and I've made other videos about musical chairs and try to explain the supply and demand crunch. You're not going to see supply demand crunch on the halving. You're not going to see it. But all these pieces are stacking up, adding up to more and more big players trying to acquire as much crypto as they can before other people get to it. And it's a race. ETFs are buying Bitcoin at a rate of 10,000 a day or more. Mr. 100 is buying 100 at a time, several times a day, multiple days this year. So the rate of the whales that are gobbling up Bitcoin is astronomical. It's just like they are trying to get as much as their hands onto much Bitcoin as possible. And at some point, there's going to be supply crunch. And that supply crunch starts to happen this Friday/Saturday when the Bitcoin halving happens. And instead of 900 a day created by the Bitcoin miners in the network, it goes down to 450. So now that all that demand, that same demand is going to be there. Like the ETFs are going to buy the same amount of Bitcoin on the 21st as they did on the 19th or on the 18th or the 17th. So that demand is now going to be, instead of 11 times the daily rate of what Bitcoin network is producing at 900 a day, it's going to be 22 times. And that's just the ETFs. Now you add in Hong Kong. Now you add in Mr. 100. Now you add in other whales that are trying to get into it. And it's going to add more and more. So there's your demand. The supply is being it's shrinking. It's going to be literally cut in half this weekend. And Bitcoin is going to have reduced supply, and the same demand is going to be there. So eventually price catches up to supply and demand. That's what happens in the normal Bitcoin cycle every 4 years. Now this is different because we have bigger players coming in and there's a lot more demand than it used to be. So it's going to be a different dynamic. So that price spike could be coming sooner. Eventually price catches up to the demand and tries to create that balance. That's basic economics, supply demand curves. If supply goes down, demand remains constant, price must go up. It's like if there's only one car on the lot and two people have plenty of money for it, it's a bidding war, right? The price must go up. It's an auction. That hasn't happened yet because they're not struggling. The ETFs are not struggling to acquire Bitcoin because Grayscale is selling, and you've got other players that are selling for whatever reason. Right now, they can acquire it, but in the next year or so, the price must go up because the available supply will go down. Now, let me turn the page back to Ethereum, and I'm going to point up here again. I've done two videos now. One's already out about the history of Ethereum. It's important to know about the Ethereum gate. And if you don't know about this, there's a lot of talk about how the Ethereum got a free pass by the SEC back in 2018 to be a commodity, not a security. So that they were basically, they said they're very similar to Bitcoin, so they don't have to be viewed as a security. Now, in 2018, Ethereum was way different than it is today because they changed from proof of work to proof of stake. There's lots of concerns, but I'm going to talk about the supply and demand. Now, the ETF that just came out from Hong Kong is the first Ethereum ETF. That's going to increase demand for Ethereum. Other countries are going to try and keep up, and they're going to create their own ETFs for Ethereum, and then you're going to have a race towards Ethereum. As more and more players want to get involved with Ethereum, there's some bad actors that could very well be getting into Ethereum, and it's a concern. Okay, so Ethereum is very centralized now, and the network could be compromised. I'm not saying it's going to be, but I'm saying that the tools are there, the possibility is there in the network because it's so centralized now, and I talked about that in the video. And the number of actors is limited that control the network or can change the network or can manipulate a backdoor to the network. Ethereum has had problems in the past. That's what my first video talked about. How in 2016 they rolled back the blockchain, which you're not supposed to do. And the recent videos about ETHgate, they were talking about only keeping 90 days of history. They want to get rid of Ethereum history going forward. That's it's called the purge that's coming up. That's in the roadmap for Ethereum. So there are concerns about Ethereum going forward. So, and then there are other players like JP Morgan and other companies that use JP Morgan's Onyx chain, which is on Ethereum, that wants to tokenize everything. You can see a lot of assets moving towards Ethereum, and then Ethereum will get bigger. And if Ethereum has the possibility of getting corrupted or manipulated, all the financial stuff could go haywire very quickly, and all crypto can look like garbage because of one bad actor, one bad chain, one bad event. Okay, kind of like think Mount Gox times 100. If you remember Mount Gox or know about that story. If you don't know those stories, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the history of crypto, because even though if Bitcoin's obviously the biggest boy on the street. That's the kingpin. That is the leader in the clubhouse. But Bitcoin, if it was a person, it couldn't even vote. It's 16 years old. Okay, but believe it or not, it has a lot of history. And so do a lot of other projects too, especially Ethereum, and that's coming to the forefront right now with ETHgate and what John O'Keefe is investigating. And we're talking about, ETHgate's been around especially the XRP community for a while because XRP got sued by the SEC, but Ethereum seemed to get a free pass, and they wondered why. And now there's a lot of news coming out. It's like, here's the potential reasons why. So as we see more money and more players and more countries starting to look towards Ethereum, and already we have Hong Kong announcing ETF, we need to look harder at Ethereum and how that one bad actor could be a black eye in the entire crypto industry, potentially. So that's what those videos are about. This is all about supply and demand this week. We have supply dwindling with the halving. We have more demand coming from the new ETFs in a new country. It's a lot going on. And while we see that the price of Bitcoin has dipped a little bit and some alts have come down, the chains haven't changed except for Ethereum. Right, that's the one concern. Ethereum has changed in the last couple of years. Not many players know that intricately and know those kinds of details. So I wanted to bring that to light. What are your thoughts? Leave a comment down below. Like, share, subscribe. We'll give you more information in the newsletter. Sign up down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.